Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Backpack Trader Training Room for Thursday, May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Okay, we have a get in sync possibility coming up for our start in about 20 seconds. That is a trade off the 20 SMA, so that's a diamond level trade. And we'll try to keep an eye on soybeans as well. I'll try to, and that's going to go away from us, it looks like. Markets are open. Yeah, it hit money management, so. Well, no, maybe it didn't. And we go long. Actually, that's, 721. And it was only 2 seconds on the bar, so. So we actually are still short, and that would be an adjusted entry. So we actually would still be short, and we would have hit target 1. So let's expand that and take a look. So our entry was at 3707. And money management was at, get back there, 3680, and we got as low as as 81. So no, we missed it by a tick. So yes, that was we did get in sync with the long. The entry to the long would have been 23 then, which was not hit. So we did get target 1, and we would have picked up target 1. We would likely have stopped out right along in here. The balance line is 690, so 692 would have been where we likely stopped. Well, I don't know, maybe not. Did we get? Yeah, 692 would have been the stop out. So target 1 and a partial on the trail for a one and done session. The long would have been avoidable if you didn't take the short. The second long, unfortunately, wouldn't have likely have been avoidable unless you make it test the session lows again. So currently flat. If you didn't take the short trade, you currently flat with possibly a full stop loss on this second trade. And there is another SMA trade. So if you didn't take the first one, you obviously aren't going to take that one. So I won't worry with that one at the moment. Soybeans had a successful add-on from way back here. And then here's our first trade set up is a long. The chase ticks pushed it up above the 50 EMA and made it valid. It was a squeeze zone filter. And that was right at 9:30 and went through both targets on the same second. So that was not tradable. And we pick up along here, 9:30.08. That trade just niggles us in. Just depends on how quickly it spiked through, whether or not that's tradable or not. I'll assume it was a full loss. So we take the, either way, we get the next trade. We're looking for the next trade, and that's a long that we're able to get in, hitting targets 1 and now target 2. So our loss on that first trade was 15 ticks times 4 positions, so 60 ticks. We got a lot of work to do to get catch up there. So 12, 20, and 28. If we get all 3 targets, we'll get there. 12 and 20, we're at 32 ticks now. Stop at 58.25. And see what's going on. See if we had anything. Okay, the short was too early on the Russell. Long, we are in the long on the Russell. This is the Catapult Russell 1.5 point custom Renko bar from TradeStation. It's not, obviously not on TradeStation, but I'm using UniRenko to match the TradeStation custom Renko bar with a 1.5 point or 15 tick brick size and an offset of 5 ticks or a half point. And that is a full stop. Then we pick up a new short. And it should be in that. All right, back to soybeans, stop to 58.50. Need a little bit, and to 59.25. Vicky, are you still on the SL calculator? Because that's what I'm using, the SL calc. Now, if you have Counterpunch and Catapult, yeah, it's possible. And you're still on the SL calculator. I'll have to take out my trading charts, but this workspace, I can knock off my trading charts and give you what's on my projected workspace. Because as you well know, you can only view one workspace at a time in NinjaTrader. So I have my trading charts on another screen in this workspace. All right, and that's a second loss on the M2K Micro Russell. Okay, and it looks like we did ultimately stop out of soybeans at 59.25 from 56 even. Gives us 13 ticks. So we got 12, 20, 32, and another 13 is 45. We're down 15. So we'll take this long at 60.75. Money management will be at 62.25. It's a 6-tick minimum. And our first actionable target will be target 2 at 16.63 even. with 2 positions there. That was an avoidable long, just spiked to the entry. And same with the short, just spiked and came back and hit the stop. So I'm going to assume those 2 trades were avoidable. We need 15 ticks to get to break even. There's money management. And if we can get target 2, that will get us positive, and that will be a POQ. That's assuming you got into the long right at the market open at 9:30. If you didn't get into the long that stopped out, then the second long is POQ. And unfortunately, it looks like we get a 1 tick stop out. So now we're down, that's going to be 4. So we're down 11 ticks now, looking for a new trade. And another quick spike to touch or a tick beyond, that's likely an avoidable trade on the Russell. Sorry, bouncing back and forth, it's a little hard to open some of these up full screen for everything. So we're one and done on the YM. And discuss that one. Okay, on crude. We have a trade set up about a minute before our start time. But we do get in sync with that. It stops and reverses to short and gives a full stop on the stop and reverse, unfortunately. Trade number 3 is a short that gives us a target 1 win and a partial. And the net on that is going to be a net loss, I would expect, but not much of one. Not too bad. Now that's the full crude contract. The micro crude, a little bit different. The setup is the same, and it does trigger in on get in sync. The setup is at the same time. Doesn't get up to the stop and doesn't get a short trade. That's interesting. That should be a short there. I'm sorry. Hey, we're in a short already. We didn't get the long trade because we didn't get the third bar. We didn't get a close above the balance line. Well, actually, we did. It's right there. $109.35. That's a big enough move. That should have been a setup right there. Oh, okay. That's why we had an overbought reading keeping us out of it. Let me expand that so it's a little easier to see. So here is the trade setup. We got in sync there. We have a couple of overbought readings right there that keep us out of the long trade right here. So it comes down, hits target 1, picks up a small trailer, and that's a one and done session. And we have about 15 minutes to mark it open, or rather to the crude 10 a.m. mini session. Unleaded gas. 5 seconds before our start time, we have that short at 65.87, and we missed getting in sync by one tick, getting as high as 86. So that is a no trade, hitting money management before we hit an entry. The long is 8 seconds on the bar. I would say that one's likely avoidable. So then we come down and get this long. Okay, the Russell now finally giving us something to work with. Definitely should be able to get into that trade. 8 seconds, yeah, and then you get a wick back up, so definitely in that. Targets 2, 3, and 4, and a nice trailer trailing currently. So let's take a look at unleaded here. Yeah, that one was avoided. So we pick up the long here. Straight up on the up move through all 4 targets, trailing up to 66.83 from the entry at 65.51. So what, 132 ticks on the trailer, and 67 ticks, so 199 ticks on the trade. $800 plus on that, and a successful depends on the condition, Brett. I will usually look for 2 full losses, but I believe the trade plan actually would be any 2 losses, so the stop and reverse would count as a loss. But often, especially after now, if I had a stop and reverse and then we got a full loss like we did on the full crude contract, that's where I'll go ahead and take the third trade, because especially if it's back in the original direction, because it's already given you indication that that's where it wants to go. But I won't exceed the 3 trades. But there are times I'll go ahead and take the third trade just to mitigate the loss a little bit. But yes, I'll stop if I get 2 full losses. I'll absolutely stop. If it's if it's real close stop and reverses and there's no direction in the market, yeah, I'll stop there too. But the fact that it just didn't get going with the original long, stopped and reversed back to short for a full stop out, and then set up a new long, that's where I went ahead and took the additional trade. Just trying to mitigate a little bit of the loss. And the Russell stopping out. . All right, we've got the pound Aussie that got into a trade just before 9 o'clock. Meandered about. I'm sorry, excuse me. I'm looking at the wrong one. Right at 8:46 seconds after our start time at 8:30, we pick up a long couple of bars to get into that. Going up through all four targets and trailing up to target 4. So a nice solid win on the pound Aussie this morning after a strong overnight pullback on the pound Aussie. All right, let's take a look at the micro NQ and see if, okay, got 10 minutes, so let's take a look here. 9:34 on my timestamps. It's 8:34 exchange time for our start. So yeah, that one is 11 seconds. That's 4 seconds before, 19 seconds after. I would say we probably get in that trade and get in sync, and it becomes a break even. 34, 33, 2, 3, 3, 4 seconds. Actually, it's a get in sync, but here again, with these Renko bars, the more I see them come up and then come back, when you actually get a progression forward and then they come back and you get two or three bars, they tend to keep moving. I haven't seen them pause, so I would tend to want it to test and give me a move back before taking the short. And in this case, we get a stop and reverse long. 40, same second, yeah. But then you get a wick back. Yeah, you've got 7 seconds to the bar prior, and then a wick back down, so that you're in sync with that one. This one actually would have gotten you in sync and before it set up any kind of progression. So yeah, that would take the short would be taken and stop and reverse into the long. And we get money management. Actually, looks like we're trailing. Maybe not. Maybe that got 44 ticks. Yeah, there's the trailer starting. Hitting target 2 and the minor trailer for a successful trade there. Timing would be the key on this one. It's 7 seconds to close at the stop. So maybe not tradable. That one would just take, you either have to be trading it or you have to go back and dissect it with a faster chart to see exactly when the entry was or how soon you could have gotten in. In the short, okay, we still got about 5 minutes. 2 and 15 seconds on that bar with a big wick. So I would say definitely in that trade. Targets 2, 3, and trailing up between targets 1 and 2. So that's a break even, 2 wins, 1 loss, possibly 2 losses. No trade on the short back here. One second to that one, then we come back. And the same, yeah, 1 second. We go 1 second to the stop, and that one's definitely not tradable. No entry on the short. Same second, 2 seconds, 8 seconds. Now that one's possible. It's possible you got in sync because it had the wick way down here before closing up here. So that definitely likely you're in that trade, and that's the second or third loss depending. And the short is going to be a third win. Actually, the third loser would end the session, I believe. If it's only the second loss, that's going to be a target 2 win and a small trailer to end the session. Okay, coming up in about just under 3 minutes now. So I can get us scaled properly here. That is a get in sync possibility on the short for our start in 3 minutes on the micro crude. Any other questions while we wait? We got heating oil over here also. That was an 8:30 start, 9:30 start, excuse me. Same second to money management. That's no trade. Six seconds to money management. Probably not tradable. It's just a break even. It's just a break even anyway. Minute 10 to go on the crude session. And there is a possible long trade now. So we have long or short. Coming up to our start. That's going to cancel the long. Yep, the long cancels, so our short is our only get in sync option. And 15 seconds to our session open. And price just below. All right. And that is a diamond level long. And that triggers in. Might have gotten into the short. I didn't get a fill. All right, getting close to money management on the long. If you had triggered in the short, that would have been a stop and reverse at 76. And the stop at 110.49. Crude up solidly this morning. And there is money management and target one. Moves your stop to break even. And approaching target two. So this will 110.96 within one at 95. And there is going through to 96. Two targets there. And currently trailing at 110.78. No, I'm sorry. 73 would have been your stop and reverse, not 76. So if it was not a stop and reverse, it was worth 41 for two targets. If it was a stop and reverse, it was 37. So 64 to 73, 9 ticks, 18. Definitely positive on those two trades. If you got into the short. Let's see. And trailer stopping out. Now, the problem with the micro ES is that there wasn't a trade. There wasn't a setup. It was in a setup pre-market, and it's still in that setup. I haven't got the 5-minute charts on the YM and NQ up in this one, but that's what the micro ES looks like. And as you can see, it entered a short back here at 8:35 Eastern, which is 7:35 Central, which is the exchange time, and our start time is not until 8:35 Central, which is 9:35 on my chart, and it was way too far into the trade to get in sync with. So nothing to trade on the ES this morning, unfortunately. All right, so that takes care of the micro crude 10 a.m. session. Let's take a look at what full contract did at 10 a.m. Looks to me like it probably didn't get the short trade. Now, 4 seconds after start, and we're up here. So I would say definitely that's a one and done. Well, no, it's not. We get a money management, we get a break even on the long, and then a target 1 and 1 tick on the short for a two and done session, but not a lot of strength there. Roger, I'd have to look at the YM and the NQ, but it's possible they did better. And the NQ on the Renko did quite well, I thought. Now, the full ES takes a pretty big account, especially if you're going to trade multiple positions, which is why I typically look at the micro ES. All right, so now we can take a look at heating oil at our leisure. That would have done it. Yeah, you'd still be trailing your trade on that one. And that's actually, memory serves, that's the pre-market open for the regular stock exchange. So we got a no trade, a break even. $20 seconds to money management. Or it looks like, yeah, 20 seconds to money management. So a second break even trade. No entry on the long. The short, 36.18. Same second. Unfortunately, that's not tradable because it's same second to money management. That would have been a nice trade. So our next possibility is the long. And we have the same situation, same second to money management. So neither one of those nice trades were tradable. 33, same situation there. Heating oil moving a little fast. 3 seconds to money management. Okay, that one looks like we could be traded. Oh yeah, lots of time. Getting target 3 and a 1 tick break even. Don't know if that one's tradable or not. It spiked up to just shy of money management and pulled back. That one's probably a full loss. So that would be a 32 tick loss times whatever positions. A little larger than normal because of the wick on the setup bar. Then we come to the short, plenty of time. Targets 3 and 4 and trailing down almost to target 4. So we got a couple of target 3 wins, a couple of break evens, and a lot of no trades. And maybe take one more trade. Long doesn't trigger, short doesn't trigger, long doesn't. No trigger on several trades there. Long triggers, plenty of time to get in, and that one is a full stop for that. That'll end the session. Looks like probably a profitable session. And then back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and then boom, it gets a really strong short here. And ages of time on that bar. 41 seconds on that bar, so very likely to be tradable. And just a monster trailer. Unfortunately, that would be beyond our trade plan. I have the foggiest. Yeah, crude's making a 70-odd cent move. Heating oil's down. Energies are solidly down. The YM is sitting down at session lows. It's been trending down all morning. And of course, you looked at the micro ES, it's just heading for the big trailer there on the trade at 7:35 Eastern, or 8:35 Eastern, 7:35 Central. And this is not a room for advertising things. But that pretty much takes care of all the charts we've got. Yeah, you can see where our initial trade this morning was up here in the 33 sevens, and we've gotten down to we're down what 400 points, 400 plus points. Come back up 100, so off the lows. Don't know what's causing all the consternation. NQ down pretty much at the lows. Let's see what its range today is. Oh Lord, yeah, it's down big time. Down, yeah, 400 to the lows. It's 450 points from almost 450 points from session open. Not a good day. Big move days can be profitable for us, though. Any other questions? Well, we're coming up on an hour. All right.